Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Feed me the creepiest shit that's happened to you. I'll start. Be me. Be 11 or 12. Live in a creepy 2-story house with my parents. Dad comes home with a giant box. I'm a robot.jpg. Cut out holes for my arms and legs. Square hole in the front so I can see out. Parents decide to go upstairs to bed. Fuck you, I'm a robot. I don't sleep. Go to look in the mirror to see how great I look. Stand in the hallway with a full-length mirror at the end. The house is kinda dim, so everything in the mirror is darkened, but my face and you can vaguely see my hands. Creep myself out, so I decide to smile and wave at myself. My face when my reflection isn't smiling, nor is my arm waving. Stand there frozen in fear for about 5 minutes. Finally snap out of it and run into the living room and switch on the TV. Never stare in mirrors to this day. That house has left me with a lot of fucked up moments.
I work nights and am often driving at weird hours, typically just me on the road. About 2 weeks ago, driving my usual route to work, it's close to midnight. I notice something on the road up ahead and put my high beams on. We get kangaroos crossing the highway at night, and if you hit one at high speed, it'll go right through your windshield and kick you to death as it's dying. So I slow down some. I notice it looks like a pack of roos crossing about 300 meters ahead. Visibility is good, full moon. No other cars, just 10 to 15 brown or gray shapes up ahead. As I get closer, they are not scared by my lights or moving off the road. This is pretty weird, so I slow down more and start blasting my horn. I'm about 100 meters away now. Speed is down to like 40. I start to notice their shapes aren't quite right for kangaroos. As I get closer, I realize their heads are all wrong. Black pits for eyes and large oval mouths with sharp teeth like an orca or a gray white or something. All I can make out is front-facing eyes, sockets, and mouth. No other features. The rest of their heads now turn slowly to face my car, and I see teeth flashing white and hear weird, several high-pitched squealing sounds. From here on out, they all begin to act as one. They stand up from a crouched position. These things are big. Their fur looks like it's hanging limp, but I can't make out limbs or proportions too well. By now, I've stopped the car and am shitting 1,000 bricks. The engine is idling. They are like 20 to 30 meters away and begin to slowly walk towards the front of my car. Kangaroos do not move like this. It's a slow, purposeful walk, and I've never seen them smile or display teeth or heard them scream before. I put it in reverse, peeled back, spun it around, and got out of there. I drove past there the next day in full daylight, and other than the massive tire mark I left, I couldn't find anything to suggest what I saw wasn't just some crazy hallucination.
Be about a year ago. Be at a boarding school. We were supposed to go to some weird talk or music shit. When we got there, we decided we didn't want to go because it seemed too boring. A teacher suggested we drive out to some haunted places he knew of. We decided to go to one very creepy location, some big abandoned farmhouse. On the way there, me and one of my friends began to feel weird. We told the teacher, and he informed us that we were really close. We parked outside, and the teacher told some folklore about the place. After he was done telling the story of how some rich landowner, claiming in front of some maidens that he was fighting the devil, and then his eyes popped out of his head and he died, we went into the driveway. We stood there, and suddenly several of us began to freeze, then sweat. Suddenly, I heard a child's laugh. Nope. Look around me, and two friends are sitting on the ground feeling sick. One claimed he had a bad headache. The other suddenly had to vomit. They claimed they saw a little child in one of the bushes and got sick. I looked towards one of the windows and saw a tall black figure standing there. Suddenly I felt dizzy, so I sat down, lay down on the stones, and then I got one of the most creepy feelings I have ever had. Everything went silent, and I just felt like murdering everyone there, but I couldn't move at the same time. Finally, I got up, and the feeling disappeared. The others told me they tried to come in contact with me, but I did not respond. The others got too freaked out and left. I decided to stay a little longer. Suddenly, I heard shuffling in the stones, like someone was running fast towards me. I heard a creepy sound I still cannot identify, and got pushed down to the ground hard. Got up and ran towards the car as fast as my legs would allow me. Still want to go back to that place to this day, but it has been bought and sealed off from the public.
I've had a lot of weird shit happen to me. The weirdest things aren't usually the ones that freak me out the most, but I'll share a few of them that melted my mind. Be around 4 years ago, living in an apartment with 3 other friends. One friend gets pissed off because he is a little baby and has to work in the morning, and another friend is playing Halo 3 too loud, although his TV's volume was on 4 and I could barely hear it in the same room. The crybaby leaves and sleeps at his parents' house after raging. Us 3 remaining go upstairs while the friend is AFK in the game so we can see how loud it really is up there. The crybaby lived in the loft right upstairs, so there were no doors or anything. We figured maybe it echoed, up there for maybe 10 minutes. 2 friends were sitting against a little half-wall type thing that hid the stairs. I was sitting on the crybaby's bed facing them in the stairs. Start talking and shit. Forget about Halo. The game ends, the lobby closes, and downstairs is quiet. Out of nowhere, we hear the door stop behind our front door, which is directly in front of the stairs, spring like someone had flicked it. We all think the crybaby came back and we look down there and nobody is there. We search the entire house, closets and everything. Nobody came in and the door is still locked. Flick the door stop and it's stiff. There's no way a mouse or something made this happen. I could barely make it spring as much as it did when we first heard it. Start freaking out now. Go back upstairs to the loft, where we heard cupboards in the kitchen open and shut by themselves a few times. My other roommate's laptop turn on, then off by itself in the next room. And crazy shit like that for the next 20 minutes or so before it all stopped. I had a lot of experiences in that apartment. So did the people who lived below us. We were the only 2 rooms in the building.
Move into a cheap apartment with my brother. Find out from the neighbors it used to be a crack house. Discover the front door doesn't lock properly from being kicked down so many times. Find other small signs of violence throughout. Fend off high and drunk people who try to visit for drugs. Stay anyway because poverty. Live there for most of a year. Hang out at about 3 a.m. watching a Nemu with my brother. Just chilling. No drinking or smoking. Look over to the middle of the living room. A large, fairly thick, smoky cloud is suddenly floating several feet off the ground. Maybe 4 or 5 feet tall, but hard to tell because the edges are vague. And perhaps 2 or 3 feet wide. Look into my brother's eyes and know he saw something. Look back over. The cloud is gone without a trace. Ask my brother what he saw. Hear him describe a huge puff of smoke appear and disappear. Look around. Every window and door is fully closed. I would really like there to be a logical explanation for why what appeared to be a large cloud of fog would suddenly appear about 6 or 7 feet away from us, in our apartment, with every door and window closed, and then instantly disappear. Yet I've never been able to come up with one.
Be a few weeks ago. Just got done taking the GRE, chilling at home with my parents before I need to leave for college. I'm a paranoid fucker, a frequenter of /x/ since last spring. I've started believing in certain things that if I told anyone normal, they'd think I'm a tinfoil Hatsburg. I'm paranoid and always alert, but not fearful. Have had paranormal shit happening to me all summer. Anyways, story starts at bedtime a few days before I have to leave. My bed is positioned in the corner of my bedroom, so its right side and the head of the bed are against walls. Near the head of my bed are 2 windows. It was still basically summer at that point. The temp was in the high 80s, so I had my window open with a rectangular box fan in it. Fall asleep to the running box fan. Wake up and it's cold. The fan sucked all the heat out. Happens all the time. Reach from bed and turn it off. Too tired and lazy to muster the strength to get up and take it out. Try falling back asleep. Not but a few seconds later, I hear something dragging on the plastic cage of the fan from the outside. What.jpg? Dragging continues. It's relatively slow and soft, as if you were running a finger down the cage slowly. What.jpg? My face when there isn't any sort of tree or foliage outside of my second-story bedroom. Try to look through the plastic cage and see if something's there. No dice. Can't see anything. Dragging continues. Ignore it and fall back asleep. Ignoring things never works though, guys. I wish it would because I don't want to spend money trying to rid this stupid paranormal shit out of my life.
Be me, around 11 years old, 2012, playing Robloxed while my parents are out, on a friend's shitty obby he made. Only one on the server until some random guy joins. Immediately get bad vibes, but still working on finishing despite my shit skills. The guy starts to chat towards me. Ignore him until he reaches me and starts to block me. Ask him what he wants and who he is. Claims to be a friend of my friend. Claims to be a kid from the same neighborhood as my friend. Asks to hang out sometime. Asks me for my address. Asks me what school I go to. Make up random bullshit just to get him to go away. End up asking my friend about him later. My friend knows nothing about him. Receive a friend request from the creepy user. Go to his profile to block him. Game for my friends insert our usernames is the only game he has. Join the game while logged out as a guest because I don't want to play with him. The game is a basic, poorly built house with our avatars stuck inside alongside his. Leave immediately. Get another friend request from the same guy on a new account a week later. Block him again. Start playing around with my friend sometime later. The same fucking guy on his third alt joins our server. Starts spamming the chat calling us horrible friends for ignoring him, and that we will regret everything. Claims to know where we live. Claims to have some hacker power that can grab our IPs. Don't know shit about computers or IPs at our age, so immediately freak out. Tells us he's coming in a gray car. Leaves us for the last time. Nothing really happens after this, but we both get scared at the sight of any gray car.
The scariest thing that has happened to me was when my sister started uni in Dublin about 10 years ago. She just started renting this really old and crappy house with her friend and another student. Right from the minute she moved in, she was complaining about the place. about it always being cold and that it has a weird smell and things. Pretty much the stuff you expect from a shitty student house. After a few weeks living there, she started coming home every weekend, which was strange because we live in Northern Ireland in a small village, a 3-hour bus journey away, and she couldn't wait to move away from home before. So I start asking her what's wrong and why she's coming back every weekend instead of partying in Dublin. Finally, I get it out of her what's up. So she tells me that she thinks someone has keys to their place and is coming into the house when they're out, but not stealing anything, just moving stuff around, looking through their drawers and stuff. So my mum freaks out about this, rings her landlord, and gets him to change the locks. And she makes me go down to stay with her for a while to see what's going on. Things start getting weird as soon as I get there. So the first night we get back down to her house, it's empty. The others are at friends 'cause nobody likes being there alone. So we are sitting in the living room, drinking, listening to music, having a laugh, when there's this bang from upstairs. We both look at each other because we know the house is empty. I'm pretty drunk by this stage, so I run up to where the sound came from, in her friend's room. I turn the light on. Nothing out of the ordinary, just looks like a messy room. So later on, her friend comes home, and we tell her about the bang. So she goes up to investigate. She comes back down, telling us that her hairdryer is smashed, lying by the wall, and that she keeps it in her cupboard. So I say, maybe you have ghosts, half jokingly, but truthfully, I'm a bit freaked out. Anyway, we drink some more, and I start making jokes about their place being haunted.
Deliver for a takeaway when I was 19. An old woman always gets the last delivery of the night. Lives in an upstairs flat, so she leaves the front door open, and I go up and knock on the living room door. Which I hate because her dog seems vicious, but I don't think it really is. It just barks and snarls the second I go inside the flat. Highly protective of her. There's a reason she uses this door method, but it's not worth explaining. Go there one night, shout up the stairs that it's only me. Go up and knock on the living room door. No answer. The bedroom door is next to it, and then another bedroom door at 90 degrees. The 90-degree door opens a little. Hello? Me, by the way. Maybe she's sick or something. I don't know. Go over to it anyway. Can hear murmuring, so I push the door open a little, and then it hits something. The delivery has been paid for, but she's a good tipper, so I don't want to just leave. Start having a conversation with no one. Do you want me to leave this here? Do you want me to bring it in? Sure has been a quiet night, tip-wise, etc. Don't get any response back. Put it on the floor and start walking away. The door opens a little more. Do my moronic, hello, again. Walk back over to the door. No reply. Listen, I'm going to come in just to make sure you're all right. All right? All right. The light switch is maybe 6 inches inside the ajar door. Put my hand in to switch it on because I'm not walking into some dodgy, pitch-dark room. Put my hand on the light switch. Someone who is definitely not a 90-year-old woman grabs hold of my hand. Kick the food all over the floor when I try to run away. Launch myself down the entire flight of stairs and slam the door behind me. No one rang to complain about the food getting fucked. Nothing in the paper about anything happening. She never got another delivery. And it wasn't until I was already back safe that I realized the dog, if it was there, never made a sound.
Be 18. Come home early, as we were practicing graduation. Stop in the middle of the hallway. Notice the handle from the basement door is on the floor. Put it back on. Old house. Family is too lazy to even fix a door handle. Open the door to investigate. See muddy footprints leading a trail from the washing machine, which is right under a window, to the stairs. Nope upstairs and slam and bolt lock the door shut at lightning speed. Call my mom to let her know someone tried to break in. Another. Be 10-ish. Finally allowed to stay home alone. Can go home after school instead of daycare, etc. Doing chores. Open up the attic door to get the vacuum, as we store it in the little space next to the stairs. Notice there are claw and gouge marks on the attic door. Quietly shut the door. Lock it, and push the love seat against it. I regret signing up for this. One more. Be 9. Parents divorced when I was like 7, so I've been living with my mom since then. Have an old house, okay sized for 2 people. Our property isn't overly huge, but we have a rental house behind ours. The woman who used to rent it moved out a few months ago, so it's vacant. An older man shows up on the doorstep asking for his son, explaining that his son's friend lives with us. Mom was like, "No one by that name lives here. It's just us." The dude insists, but Mom keeps telling him no one lives here. After he leaves, she tells me to stay by the back door with the phone, and if she's not back in 5 minutes, to call the cops. Terror as I watch her go into the rental house to check it out. She comes back fine and dandy, just as cops pull up. They say they're looking for the same kid as the father and ask to search our property. Mom makes me go into my room. Years later, I learned someone broke into our rental house and squatted in it. Don't know who it was or whatever happened to the kid the father was looking for, though. Kinda spooky to think about. It was right in my backyard.
Only one truly weird thing has ever happened to me. You'll notice that a lot of the stories happen to people just before, during, or after they've gone to bed. So it's not hard to figure out what's going on there. You'll also hear a lot of stories of paranormal phenomena, where people are already scared or on drugs or otherwise not in a normal state of mind. Or they were little kids and left home alone, or some other shit that adds an element of doubt to it. There's none of that in my story. I was in my mid-20s. It was the middle of the day. I was at my mom's house with my girlfriend picking something up. I lived in that house until I was 18. I know every inch of that place. And sure, there were things about it that creeped me out when I was a kid, but not anymore. My mom had recently divorced my dad and was living in the house by herself. To help save money, she kept all of the doors to the upstairs rooms closed at all times. I was coming down the stairs that day, and I was maybe only on the 3rd step down. My girlfriend was right behind me. And really, what happened is pretty straightforward. We both heard one of the bedroom doors upstairs close. I wasn't even afraid at first. It seemed so absurd. I knew no one else was home. I had just seen that all of the doors were already closed. I decided to search the house just to be sure. Of course, there was no one there. I'm absolutely certain it was the sound of one of those doors closing. Not quite slamming, but closing firmly. I know exactly what those doors closing sounds like. But I have no idea what could have caused that noise. The story never really scares anybody when I tell them, and that's okay. But it's true and I can't explain it.
My mom is a Mountie officer, and she used to be stationed in Manitoba when I was little. We lived near a reserve, and sometimes she would have to go there to solve disputes or look into different kinds of matters. One time she was called to investigate a crime scene and went with a partner. It was a car that had been broken into. It had been left by a man that didn't belong on the reserve in one spot for 3 days. And in those 3 days it had snowed heavily. The car was surrounded by snow. According to her, the windows were smashed outwards, but there were no footprints to or from the vehicle. They found what seemed to be animal fur inside, and there was no sign of the man. Now, her partner was Aboriginal, and she talked to the locals about it. They didn't want to talk to my mother. That woman and the people she consulted talked, and my mother noticed she seemed a bit out of it. She told my mother that the locals believed the cause of the incident, whatever it was, to be bad medicine. Some of you might know what that is, and some of you might not. I don't have a very good explanation myself, but the locals' idea was that some sort of spirit had attacked the man, or was called upon to do so. Anyhow, that's all they ever got out of their investigation. I don't know if they followed up or tried to find the man, but my mother's partner at the time seemed fairly certain that the situation was beyond their control. My mother herself was a bit freaked out by it, since she'd never seen or heard of anything like it. She decided it was better to mind her own business, although she never forgot it.
Be me, 22-year-old Frenchie, driving late at night to come back from a journey with my mates. There are 2 cars, Dan's car, let's call him Dan, and mine. Dan is driving in front of me. He's the only one in his car with another dude at the front seat. Mine is full. We were 5. At some point, we were passing on a very thin road with huge trees and a lot of bushes. I've always been scared of this kind of road, especially since my dad and my uncle told me their creepy road stories. As we finished this road and came back to the normal road, my mates and I saw a man on Dan's back seat. We looked at each other scared. Dan and the other dude haven't noticed it. One of my friends in my car tried to call the dude in Dan's car to tell them what we saw. At this point, we were scared and told him to stop the car. We stopped on the side of the road. As we were walking to Dan's car, we could clearly see the man trying to hide quickly in between the seats of Dan's car. At this very moment, Dan and his mate saw it and got out of the car. We opened the back door, checked everywhere, and there was nobody. To this day, we are still scared of this event, and none of us will ever ride at night time. Also, when my mates called them, he asked them if they could see it, but they only saw it when the man in the car tried to hide under the seats, which is really strange. They only stopped the car because they saw that we were serious and got scared too, even though they didn't see what we saw. My friend yelled at them to stop the car. After this, we were speechless for a good hour, and one of my mates went in Dan's car to continue the road, just in case. This is one of the spookiest things that ever happened to me.
Not exactly paranormal or spooky, but definitely a weird experience. About 2 years ago, I was followed around by a spider for 2 months. I don't mean I saw it in the room with me. It stayed right above my fucking head for 2 months. I first noticed it after getting up from my computer one day. Looked up while stretching, and there it was. Wasn't big, only about the size of my thumbnail. But even the small ones freak me out and need to be killed with fire. So I get up and walk into the kitchen to get a tissue to squish it. Go back into my room, look where it was, and don't see it. I start looking around my room ceiling. Don't see it. Look straight up, and there it is. I move back to stand on my bed so I can squish the thing, and it moves with me. I try walking all around my room, never losing sight of it. The damn thing mimics every step I take, hoping if I leave it alone it'll go away. Out of sight, out of mind, after all. I hop back on my computer. The hours pass, and I look up every once in a while to see if it's gone. Nope, still there. When I go to get a snack, it follows me. Fast forward to the next morning. I wake up, turn over in bed, and see it on the ceiling above my face. Ignore it. go take a shower, look up while washing my hair, and it's still right above me. I take my showers hot, like over 130 degrees Fahrenheit hot. The steam from my shower should have driven any little critter away. Not this guy. Fast forward about 2 weeks. The spider's been above my head every waking second I spend in the house. The damn thing waited for me to get home by the door to my garage every day. I know because I looked up to check for it every day. I've started to let my guard down about it, because by this point, I'm accepting that I have an arthropodic stalker. I'm in the kitchen making myself some lunch when my mom walks in. She sees the spider, and knowing how I usually react, she says, "Anon, don't look up." I reply, "Oh, you see my stalker. Good. I actually thought I might be hallucinating." "What do you mean, stalker?" "Oh, it's been following me for a while now. Watch." I walk randomly around the kitchen, changing direction frequently, doubling back on myself, trying to make my path as random as possible. The spider doesn't miss a beat. My mom just has this look of disbelief on her face. I finish making my lunch, head into my room, and hop on my computer for the rest of the day. Fast forward a month and a half. At this point, I'm fairly certain the spider is sentient or self-aware or what have you. For lack of a better way to get rid of it, I look at it and talk to it. Can't remember my exact words, but it was along the lines of, "Okay, spider," or whatever you are. This was kind of fun for a while, but frankly, it's getting creepy. Could you not follow me around anymore? After about a minute or so, the spider turns and walks along my ceiling and out of my bedroom door. Haven't seen it since, although sometimes I wonder if it's still following me out of sight. And that's my story. Believe it or don't.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.